Hi, I'm Donna Jordan from Jordan Fabrics. Let me show you something. This is one of my bins of UFOs. Now a UFO is an unfinished object. So these are quilts that I have not finished yet. And if you've been quilting for any amount of time, you've probably got some of these. You really want to finish them up. So today I'm going to show you a good method for finishing your quilt at home without sending it to the long armor, without any special tools. I'm going to show you how to hand tie a quilt with yarn. So now I do all of my quilts on the quilting machine. We've got all this stitching. This quilt here was made by doing individual stitches with yarn and hand tying them. Now it's not just for looks, it's not decorative. These are useful, functional quilts that you can sleep with, wash. We used these with all four of my kids when they were growing up, and they're really puffy and really comfortable. This is the UFO that I would most like to finish up. It's a pattern called Around the World, and I must have made it maybe 20 years ago. These fabrics are from Concord Country Florals. Concord Fabrics is no longer in business, but during the 80s, 90s, 2000s, back when I had nice big permed hair, these were prints that we used for quilting. So if you've been quilting for a long time, you probably recognize some of these prints. So these color cards are what they would send us so that we could order fabrics, and we ordered a lot of them. So these prints here, these are actually in the quilt that I'm going to show you how to hand tie today. The first thing we're going to need is a backing. So I'm going to use this nice navy blue print here. Now my quilt is 81 inches and it's square. And my fabric's about 43, 44 inches wide. So 2 widths of it will give me enough to get my 81 this way. So for the length, I'm going to cut it about 86 inches. So I've got a couple extra inches on the top and bottom. So I'm going to cut 2 pieces 86 inches long. I've got my 2 lengths right sides together here, and all I'm going to do is make one big long seam here. But I'm going to use about a 1 1/4 inch seam allowance to make sure that I get beyond any of this icky selvage portion there. Now we're going to want to press this seam open, and I'm just going to finger press it. So I'm going to pull it back across my machine here. And then I'm going to open it up and just pull my fingernail or the tip of my finger right down the seam, and it'll lay nice and flat. Now we're going to take the back and we're going to lay this out right sides up on a big old table here. So I'm just going to spread it out nice and flat. Now we're going to put the top right sides together on top of the back. So you have to be a little bit careful as you do this that you don't wrinkle up your back. So just carefully go around and straighten the top out, keeping that back nice and flat. Once you've got it laid out nice and flat, I'm going to leave this whole side alone. I'm not going to do anything on this side, but these other 3 sides, so all the way over here, along the bottom and up the other side, I'm going to put pins in around the edges. About every 6 inches, I'm pinning it about a 1/2 inch in, all the way around these 3 sides. Now we're going to take this whole thing right over to the sewing machine. We're going to stitch all the way around those 3 sides that we pinned. So starting right here, I am going to back tack so this doesn't come apart. And I'm going to use about a 3/8 of an inch seam allowance here. And I'm just going to go all the way around. I'm on the last of the 3 sides here. So I'm going to go to the end and back tack. Now on this 4th side here, this side here, I am going to take this, I'm going to start at the other end, and I'm going to just stitch all the way along here so that none of these little seams come apart. These little stitching seams here come apart as we're working with the quilt. So I'm going to stitch, it's called stay stitching, and I'm going to go 3/8 of an inch from the edge all the way along here. Now for batting for the quilt. This is 100% polyester batting, and it's bonded. That means it's been heat treated on both sides so that it won't come apart. It's going to stay together inside your quilt. Even if you just tie it every few inches, it's going to stay together through washing, and it's very, very durable. So I got this at Joann's, and you can find it at most craft stores. Just get a nice puffy one. Now, I got 48-inch batting. You probably won't be able to find it as wide as you need if you're making a big quilt. So we're going to have to seam this together. So let me show you how you do that. I've got two lengths, and I'm laying them one right on top of the other. Now we're going to stitch along the edge here. We're going to stitch this by hand. So I've got kind of a medium-sized needle here, and I'm going to use red thread so that you can see what I'm doing. I'm just going to use one piece of thread. So I'm just going to start off with a couple of stitches here and pull it through. And I've got a big knot on the end there. Now I'm going to take a stitch about every inch here. You can do 2 or 3 stitches. This is an overcast stitch, and then just pull it through. I don't know if you can see me pulling it through, but don't make it too tight. Just stitch it fairly loosely. So just keep going till you don't have much thread left. And you see I'm only using one layer of the thread. It's just folded over here. And when you get to where you're almost going to run out of thread, you can just take it off the needle, pull it a little bit tight, spin it around your finger, and then roll it down and make a big knot like that. Then just rethread and finish up the rest of the seam. Now we're going to open this up so we've got one layer, and we're going to lay it nice and flat on our table here. And let me show you why we didn't want to have our stitching too tight where we put these two pieces of batting together. We want these two pieces to lay flat, just like this. You can see the stitching, but it's not poking up and making a ridge. We don't want a ridge, so that's why we wanted it kind of loose. Now we're going to put our quilt, which is front to back, on top of the batting. So I'm going to put the back down so the patchwork is up, and I'm just going to carefully lay this out so that I make sure that my batting stays nice and flat. Once it's laid out nice and flat, we're going to want to trim the excess batting and backing, and you can do it all in one step. So just trim the batting and the backing so that it's just even with the edge of your patchwork quilt. And we're going to do this on all 3 sides, the 3 sides that we stitched front to back. Now I'm coming to where the seam is here in my batting. So as you get close, take a look. If it looks like you're going to cut through your stitching there, you might need to retie that knot so that that hand stitching doesn't come out. So just take a look. If it looks like you cut your knot open, find some loose thread there because you cut it, and then tie a new knot. Now we're going to use the same hand overcast stitching method we used before when we stitched the batting together to stitch all these layers together. So I'm going to take stitches. I'm within the seam allowance here, so you can see my stitching where I sewed it front to back. I'm going to be stitching in here, and my stitches are going to be a little bit closer, about every 3/4 of an inch, and a little bit tighter. And I'm going to go around all 3 sides, and this is going to anchor my batting to the edges of my quilt. I've got it stitched around all 3 sides, and this last side is completely open. Now for the next step, you really need to have 2 people. So grab a friend. I'm going to grab my husband, Matt.
Hi everyone, I'm Matt. I hope you're enjoying this video so far. Back in the late 70s, Donna and I used to tie a lot of quilts, patchwork quilts, and sell them to stores. So she's got this prepared now, and we're going to flip it. Ready, okay, Donna?
We are ready.
All right.
So we're each going to take one hand, and we're going to reach between the front and the back here, and we're going to go all the way down to the far end, to the far, far end, and then grab a big handful of the quilt here with the hand that's inside there. You ready?
You got it.
Now we're going to flip. We're going to pull that out, and we're turning it right side out. So now we're going to shake it around, and we're going to keep flattening out the sides. We may have to reach back in to poke out these corners, but we're going to get the quilt nice and flat. Look how easy that was.
It's nice, Donna.
Once you have the quilt nice and flat, you're ready to start tying it. So I'm going to use Red Heart yarn. This is an acrylic yarn. This is a nice top quality yarn, but it's available almost everywhere. We're going to use these yarn darner needles. Matt likes to use the biggest one. I use the medium ones. It's kind of a matter of preference, but you need a pretty big needle to be able to get that yarn through the quilt.
All right, so I've taken the biggest needle here, and the way I thread it is by stretching the yarn across the needle, pinching it in my fingers, and then bringing it back up through the needle. Just like so. And I haven't done it in about 20 years, but that was pretty good. And then I take about 3 pulls of yarn out. 1, 2, 3, perfect.
Now before we start, we want to protect our table. We don't want to damage our table with the needle. We also don't want any splinters getting in our quilt. So I'm going to take a cutting board here, and I've got it upside down so that I don't damage the surface of the cutting board. And I'm going to put that right here under the area where we're going to quilt.
The first thing I'm going to do now with this quilt is take a look at the pattern and figure out where I'm going to put my ties. I like to, kind of as a general rule, have the yarns no farther than about 6 inches apart. That allows the quilt to be held very strongly and yet show that puffiness that you like to show when you use a lofty batting.
So for this quilt, we're going to do it every other patch. That will give us about 6 inches. Of course, your quilt will probably be different, and you can pick something that will look good with it.
I'm going to do my seams across into each square right here. But I could actually tie this quilt right in the center of these squares if I wanted to. Because it's squares, I decided to go through these seams here. It shows the pattern off better, and that's the only reason. There's no exact way you have to tie it. You could put your ties anywhere you like, as little or as light as you want. So I'm going to get started with the tying. As I think about doing this tying, I want to get as close into this seam as I can where all these fabrics meet without getting into the seam, because that would be very difficult to do. So I'm going to come about 1/4 inch out. I'm going to press down, touch the table, come back through the other side. I went into the other square that is diagonal. Pull the yarn out. Now I'm going to use a finger to hold the yarn down as I bring the yarn through. I'm just pulling and holding with this finger down. That's all I'm doing. And I leave about 3 inches here that I'm going to tie with later. Then I'll skip a row, which I decided to do in my pattern, and I'll hit the next diagonal right here. Once again, 1/4 inch down to the table. I touch the table. I bring it, as you can see, the needle come out about 1/4 inch, maybe slightly more. Doesn't really matter. And I'm going to tie the quilt here, just like so. I've come to the end of my yarn, and I didn't reach the end of where my pattern is going to be, but that's okay. All I'm going to do is trim it about 3 inches and go and rethread my needle. One good tip is you don't have to cut your thread or your yarn to move to the next row. It will help you. You can just be much faster. And I have an odd amount of squares here, so I'm going to come in 1 block here. I'm just going to continue with the same yarn on the second row that's on the first. It doesn't matter. And now I will just continue right down this row, putting ties in.
So we've gone 3 rows up, and that's as comfortable as it is for us to reach. So the next step is to trim the yarns. So be sure to keep your tip of your scissors up because you don't want to trim into the quilt. So I'm just snipping between all of these stitches.
Our next step is to tie the yarns. So I'm going to get the yarns about evenly spread between here. You can adjust that. And I like to do what I call a shoelace tie, meaning I cross them, I'm tying my shoes, come down hard, and one more time, just like so.
Once you have all of the knots tied, you can trim them. So I like to trim the yarns to about 1 inch. You don't have to. You can leave them long if you like. It's entirely a matter of personal preference.
Okay, the last step we're going to do is put on a product called Fray Check. We've used Fray Check through the years to make the knots really tight, meaning it soaks into the fibers. This product soaks into the fibers. It dries quickly. It dries clear, and they won't come out through multiple washings. It's been a great product for us. So this fray check, it keeps fabric from fraying. So it seals all the little fibers so they will not come undone.
So this whole section of the quilting is done here, and all we're going to do is continue on with the same procedure all the way up the quilt, and then it'll be all done. All the quilting and hand tying is all done. So now we just need to finish up this last bit here. So let me show you how to get that finished nice and neat. I'm going to turn it around, and I'm going to trim the batting off so that it is even with the top of the quilt here. Now I'm going to trim the excess backing off, but I'm going to leave about an inch, maybe an inch and a quarter extra. Now we want to get this last opening pinned nice and neat before we stitch it up. And here's an easy way to do that. Take your batting, it's kind of in layers here, and just split it. Doesn't have to be exactly perfectly in the middle. And then fold the back over that half of the batting, and then smooth out your top and fold it over that half of the batting and put a pin in. So keep doing that all the way down. The back over a little bit of batting and the top over a little bit of batting, and then it's going to look really good on the edge here. It's going to be nice and even. All we have to do now is take out the first pin, and I'm going to hold it, and I'm going to stitch very close to the edge here. So I'm just going to back tack and go right along the edge about 1/8 of an inch away. So the quilt is all done, and now you know a really fast, easy way to finish up your unfinished projects without having to send it to the long armor, without having to shove all this underneath your sewing machine to get it quilted. Look how nice that turned out. Here's that last edge here, and the batting is very securely stitched in there, so it's not going to come away from the sides. This batting was stitched in by hand, so it's finished very nicely all the way around the quilt.
Thank you for watching our tutorial today. I hope you enjoyed it. We're going to be doing one more thing today, and that's giving away this beautiful quilt.
Now to enter the giveaway for this Around the World hand-tied quilt, it's very easy. Just click the link below that says giveaway and put in your name and your email address. And remember, this is open to everyone worldwide. We can send this anywhere. Happy quilting!